astronauts, this is Brandy and welcome back to Astro-Tarot Research. This week's reading is how do you impact others? But before we get started on the reading, I do want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok for more Astro-Tarot research or just to get to know about my general life. So let us jump into these piles. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, and pile number 5. So let's not waste any more time and just sit back, relax, and choose. Hey, pile number 1. Let's get started on the impact you have on others. We have the 3 of Wands, the King of Swords, the 6 of Coins, the Ace of Wands, Temperance, and Moolah. Okay. Trying to get these cards together. So, all right, the impact that you have on others is quite interesting. It's like you encourage people to be very unique in a way. Like you kind of bring out more creativity in people, whether that's creativity in the way that they're thinking. And honestly, I should reverse this a little bit because it's the Sword and Pentacles together. But the way that they're thinking, the way that they approach problems, it's just sort of like creative problem solving, creative thinking, the way you go about in the world. You allow people to take on a different perspective or a new perspective. And I think that definitely shows with the Temperance card as well, because the Temperance is, you know, people coming together, sharing ideas, and trying to have some sort of understanding or peace. So the impact I see is that you encourage people to have a unique perspective, a unique vision, and you're also allowing them to have a different, unique train of thought that they may not typically have. You also encourage and inspire others to be very forward-thinking and proactive when it comes to their ideas. You want people to clear up any sort of confusion and come up with like a real plan and provide real insight and think very critically about the decisions that they make and about the actions that they take. You're someone who comes in and allows people to see things in a less fuzzy manner. You're like, let me cut through this, or let me help you get rid of any sort of simplified way of thinking. You know what it reminds me of? And it's like really perfect for Moolah, because Moolah is kind of like the start of the Nakshatra Reel, the start of the Nakshatra Reel section from Moolah to Revati, where we go into sort of like this spiritual fulfillment, spiritual awakening. It starts with Moolah, and Moolah is like that instinctual, innate, basic human instinct. It's almost like an inkling of, okay, something's up, something's different. Why am I acting this way? Why am I thinking this way? Moolah is when where we start to poke holes and we start to ask questions and we start to think on a deeper level. You can look at it that way. It's where we say, wait a minute, this situation is a repeating pattern for me. So we have that first thought of that, right? That's why it's in Sagittarius, you know, the house of intellect and all that, etc. Da, da, da. And so where I'm going with this is you are allowing people, or you are impacting people in a way where they finally start to question their train of thought, how they think about things, and how they show up and go into the world. For example, they may see another human being and they may be like, oh my gosh, that person dresses so sloppy, that person doesn't shower, they always have a bad attitude, etc. And then you show up and you're like, it sounds like that person might be depressed. It sounds like that person might need some mental help. So instead of coming from a place of judgment, you want to provide them with a different perspective that's more empathetic and more compassionate, as well as you can start to see someone as a full developed individual. Like, well, instead of saying or making judgments on how a person may appear or act, you say, well, how do they get this way? Why are they behaving outside the norm? Why is this person acting differently than everyone else? Why are they performing in a different manner? How did this person come to be this way? So instead of getting offended or judgmental, you start to ask deeper questions and go further. And so that's how you impact people. You allow them to think further, think deeper, flush out full thoughts, and don't just stay on the surface level. You want people to truly think deeply about other people, about their own decisions, about their own ideas. It's all about going deeper, going deeper, going more. I mean, that's why Moolah's the root, okay? It's like, how can I get to the root of this? And really figure out what's going on here. That's why you'll see a lot of reporters and news people who work in news or investigators. They'll be Moolah. Psychologists too. I think I had my own therapist was like, she had her son in Moolah. So you'll see people who just really want to dive in deep and go further with people, and they're going to have some Moolah characteristics more than likely to them, maybe in their chart. There's other placements for it too. But so that's you. You're bringing that sort of energy. You're saying, let's stop thinking surface level. I'm tired of it. The 6 of coins here can be that you are allowing people to, or you're impacting people in a way where they're no longer asking more so for how can somebody help me, or how can I benefit from this and that, and I need this person to do this and that for me. The thing I love about Moolah is Moolah's that place, like I said, because it starts to question the patterns that are going on in their life. That means it starts, this placement means you start to take accountability for who you are and your decision making. So this 6 of Pentacle energy reversed is letting me know that you're no longer looking for someone to lead you or guide you and give a helping hand. Or, I mean, when people are talking to you, they start to no longer look for that. They no longer start to look for a savior or someone to go on and help them. They start to think about, well, how can I get myself out of this situation? Or how can I ensure that I'm good so that I am uplifting myself? You know, like, it's the 6 of Pentacle energy is kind of like almost like a give and take, but it's a lot of it is like, let me help other people. Reverse position, it can be like, how can I help myself? And so when people interact with you, after they have these interactions, they start to think about like how they can fix themselves, how they can uplift themselves, how they can bring themselves higher, how they can set stronger boundaries for themselves, especially with this 6 of Coins energy. Perhaps you've given away too much energy. Perhaps you've been too giving, or perhaps you just didn't have strong boundaries on your time and your efforts and etc. And now it's getting to a place, or I should say not you, but the people that you are impacting. That's what I'm trying to say. Man, this is kind of frustrating in a word. The people who you are impacting, may not have strong boundaries, etc. And now you come in and you help give them those boundaries. You help them think about things in a new light. Finally got that sentence out. Sorry guys, I'm getting like confused with the wording, but this is how, you impact others. These people may not have had strong boundaries. These people may have not felt they could do things for themselves. And now you're empowering them to let them know that they can. They can enact their vision. They can push themselves forward. They don't really need a helping hand. They can have one, and it's great to have one, but they can definitely propel themselves forward, and they can recognize any patterns that can be potentially self-destructive. Another thing with the Ace of Wands and Temperance, which I love that we got Temperance because that's connected to Sagittarius, and Mula is in the sign of Sagittarius in Vedic astrology, is that we see that you bring about inspiration. The thing about these cards in particular, this one, and this one, is that they have that fire sign energy to it. And that fire sign energy is all about feeling inspired, having some sort of higher belief system, whether that's, or even just belief in yourself. But it's like growing in spiritual development, growing in inspiration, growing in optimism in a way, believing in the possibility of better and doing more, and just having a lot of idealism. And so you bring a lot of inspiration and idealism in other people's lives. Perhaps you're doing something in a field where people are underrepresented. So now people see that you're doing this thing, and people are like, oh my gosh, I've never seen somebody who is black do this, or I've never seen a black woman do this, or I've never seen somebody with this disability do this, or I've never seen somebody who was who grew up poor and then ended up in this situation like you. Like, it's just you yourself in what you do and how you live your life become an inspiration for other people because they didn't see that representation growing up. Now, it may not be like it could be like you have a social media account, but it could literally just mean that you're somebody who works in an environment where you're in a position, a leadership position. And I know, at least in my life, you don't see as many women leaders as you may see male leaders. And I think that's across the board in the US. So it's always great and inspirational when you can see a woman in a position of power. And to some degree. Obviously not every woman's doing a great job, but that goes for men too. But as I was saying, so you living your life being possibly in a leadership position or just doing something that is unique to you becomes this figurehead or this, I don't know, it's not idol. It's you become a representation, you become a figure for that sort of activity. You know, whether it could be, like I saw a video, this had to be a couple of years back, of a woman, it was like a black woman who liked to forage and go into, you know, pick mushrooms and all that stuff. And obviously her videos went viral because not many black women forage for things, or at least not on the internet. It's not like super popular. There's plenty of black women who forage, but it's not like the most popular activity that you see for at least black people being represented in the media. And so now that becomes an inspiration because it's so offbeat. And I think I was just talking about this with another pile, where I was talking about how the sign of Sagittarius can represent like niche interests. So I don't know if you have a niche interest, which, I mean, I guess tarot's a niche interest. So if you're here, you definitely do. But if you have a niche interest outside of tarot, even though this can apply to tarot or astrology or anything like that, you may be an inspiration to other people around you through that in a way, because they see that you're somebody who's going after your niche, you're sticking to your guns, and they're like, wow, I've never seen somebody who looks like you or acts like you or has this sort of past like you be in this sort of area and put themselves out there in this way. And that to them is so inspiring. So the impact you have on others is just very inspiring. You give them clear insight and clear plans. And not only that, but now you're bringing diversity of thought into them where they're no longer thinking in this black and white manner. And they feel like they can tackle the world and do things for themselves. And they don't have to look for a helping hand. And that is the impact that you have on other people, pal number one. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. If not, feel free to choose another pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Either way, I'm happy you stopped by, and au revoir for now. Hey, pal number two, let's get started on the impact you have on others. We have the Two of Swords, the Page of Wands, the Fool, the Queen of Cups, the Six of Wands, and Critica. Got it. I got it right away. I already know the message. Pretty easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So the impact that you have on others is you allow others, or you give space for others to decide what they want and who they want to be within this lifetime. You help them to take a critical look at their decision making and how they are showing up in the world and for others. This energy here shows me that the impact that you have on others is that you are able to give them a new perspective or a new direction in life. It's almost like you probably come in contact with people like this a lot. People who can be very indecisive, people who may not know quite who they are. They may have some trouble defining, I guess, just their wants, their needs, their desires. Possibly they may have not been properly attuned to as children. And thus, you're probably going to meet a lot of people who are on this journey of self-discovery. This can almost mean like you may attract like a lot of avoidant personality types in a way, because they're not as in tune with who they are and their needs. So the reason that you're attracting this type, if you are, but I mean, I kind of feel like you are, the reason that you're typing this kind of like back and forth type, this type that's like one day they're doing this day, the next thing they're doing another thing. They can, for some people, maybe be flaky or maybe just like maybe a little bit inconsistent, sort of like very Gemini type of energy. Like, oh, I want to try this, I want to try that thing. I resonated with this, but I don't resonate with that thing. Like, it's kind of like ever changing in a way. The reason you're attracting them is because you yourself are such a confident person. You have such a unique perspective, and you're someone who has a lot of emotional awareness, grace, and intelligence. That's obvious by the cards. And so the impact you have on others, it's almost like you're inspiring them to take a new direction, to take a new path. You'll come across, like I said, the individuals like I described, and something about your presence, the things you do, how you interact with them, will inspire them to, one, be more confident, two, take a new direction and take a chance and take a risk, because the Fool card represents risk. I know we don't say that enough, but the Fool card is thrust into the unknown, and they just go out there. They have no clue what's coming up for them. They are completely in the dark, but they go out there and they trek anyway. And so you are having this huge impact on people's lives where you give them a totally, completely new beginning, where it's like they feel like they can start from ground zero with you. And what I love about this card with Critica, and I'm going to go by more so my observations of Critica people, is they can sort of really change lives and transform perspectives. When I see them, Critica people, the ones that I've personally known, interacted with, etc., they are the type to go through hell and back for somebody they really care about. And they're also likely to, well, there's reasons that they do that, but I'm not going to get into that. But they go to hell and back for the people that they care about. And I have heard how a lot of people may have said somebody Critica kind of just saved their life. Where somebody is just in a very dark place, somebody Critica comes along and just saves them and brings them out of that dark place. You're kind of bring about that same energy, where you're encountering people who could be in dark places, could be just in places where they're just at a fork in the road, where they're a little confused, where they're going through a situation where a transition phase or something like that. And you come in and you bring about this spark and this transformation to help them grow and develop as a person. And it pushes them in a new direction. Basically, the impact that you have on people is when they impact, like the major ones, not just talking about, everyday shallow interactions, people that you consistently interact with, you help change their perspective and their direction and where they will go in life. You're that person that helps them raise their standards. you're that person that helps bring about inspiration. It's like they see you doing all of these different things. They see you exploring. They see you taking chances. They see you taking a lot of risks. They see you being someone who is willing and open to different environments, different people, different situations. And they themselves are like, wow, this person's really doing that. Maybe I can do that too. Maybe I can go and travel the world too, because I see them doing that. Maybe I can go and start my own business too, because I see them doing that. Maybe I can do etc. XYZ too, because I see them doing that. So, So because they see you as somebody being so free-spirited and so, I guess, unbound by what expectations may be thrown on you or what's to be expected of you, they themselves start to reevaluate what exactly is expected of them. What exactly is the right path for them. Because they see you throwing all of these societal expectations to the wind. They see you being somebody who is questioning norms, questioning other paths that have been defined for you, and throwing them out the window. Maybe you're somebody who's like, I don't believe in marriage or something like that. And they're like, whoa, this person doesn't believe in marriage. Well, do I believe in marriage? And they start questioning their own values and their own beliefs and things like that. Because the thing about the Two of Swords, whenever I get this like sort of indecisive energy, they sort of look for outside validation for other people. If they see like a lot of other people doing that, then they themselves are like, okay, my choice is valid. Like I'm making a valid choice now. But over here, they see you and they see you going against the grain. And we know you're going against the grain because we have the Fool card here. And they're like, wow, this person is just doing their own thing. And not only are you doing your own thing, but you're having success at doing your own thing. You're having success in following your own path. And there is a sense of inspiration. I do want to say, I do read the water cards and the wands. Like this would be reversed basically, essentially. But it doesn't really matter because it still means success. Whenever I get the Six of Wands reversed, it's like success happens in a way that you didn't expect. It's not necessarily like, okay, I plan to make $1 billion this year, but turns out I made 999 million. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're $1 off. Does it matter? Like you get $1 the next day. Like it's like you still have success, but your goal, your intended original goal wasn't exactly met, but you still got something extremely amazing. So people see you going after the things you want and achieving those things. And though maybe everybody in society doesn't value those things, you value those things. You find inherent value in those things. And you find happiness in those things. And it makes you feel great and accomplished and wonderful. And you also may be taking a different path, because this is another interpretation. You may also be taking a different path where it's very non-traditional, but you're finding success in that path either way. So they see this happening for you and they're like, whoa, I didn't realize I didn't have to play by the rule book. And so that's the impact that you're having on people's lives. You're giving them a different perspective. And the thing about Critica is that they go through these periods in life where they have to pause, sit, and reflect and think about what direction that they want to go in. They have a lot of transitional periods in their life. And right now, I believe Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus. Critica is in the sign of Aries and Taurus. And so a lot of Critica people right now are going through different transitional phases in their careers, in their jobs, in their moving situations. Like they're really thinking hard about these things. Because of that. And so the point I'm trying to make is that it's likely that you are giving these people an opportunity to have some downtime to really think intricately and detailed about their decisions. I do not believe that before they met you, they really took a hard look at who they are, what they wanted, and the experiences that they were craving for and desiring in this life. But when they meet you and they encounter someone who is so gung-ho, who is so headstrong in one direction or multiple directions, or just you're able to pivot and go hard and be so open to explore and do your own thing and not give a flying F what anyone else thinks. They're like, wow, this is like out of control. Like, I've never seen this happen. And it puts this fire inside of them where they're like, well, I can do that. I can put in that work. I can put in that effort. Like, you inspire people to do more. You inspire people to be a better version of themselves. And you inspire people to care a little bit less about the praise of other people and more so about their internal praise, their internal happiness, what really gets them going, their own motivations, and what really puts a spark within their heart, their world, their sphere. And so that is exactly the impact that you have on other people's lives. Pretty simple, straight to the point. I'm not going to keep going on and on about the same thing. It's very clear. And hopefully this resonates for you, pile number 2. If not, feel free to choose a different pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you, but I really do see that you have just like this very inspirational impact when it comes to changing their lives. Like, it's like you take them out of the dark and you bring inspiration to them and open up the world of options and say, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. It's like the vibe you give. So that is what I have for you, and I hope I see you next time, and thank you for stopping by. Over. Okay, pal, number 3, let's see what impact you have on other people. We have the 6 of Pentacles, the Emperor, the 10 of Pentacles, the Ace of Coins, the 8 of Cups, and Ashleisha. The impact that you have on others. Jeez. Okay. I feel like when I see all of these cards, my first thought is like, you help people put their house in order. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're that person that comes through and you're like, you can't be living like this. Like, you are just saying, what is going on here? See, the 6 of Pentacles is obviously showing generosity, support, that you are uplifting people in need. So essentially, you are uplifting people in need who need help. Whether that's actual, like literally financial help, whether that's advice, whether that's emotional support, you are helping those who are in need. And you're just very generous. That's obvious. And I've definitely seen Ashleisha people be very generous, generally towards more so their partners and their friends, but they can be generous. But at the same time, it's like you have so many people that you're helping. I mean, I guess it's not a but. It's just like the cards are throwing that out there for, I guess, my interpretation to see. So the impact ultimately that you have on others is that you're uplifting them. You're giving them an opportunity to get out of a bad place. You are somebody who is emphasizing that giving and receiving in relationships is important. And you are encouraging them to practice fairness and balance and reciprocity in relationships and to look for those things. Because you are being so supportive and uplifting others, you are empowering people. So the impact you have on others is that you are empowering people through your advice, through your actions, through, like I said, it could actually be money or physical items and things that you might be giving them who are in need. You're empowering them to love themselves. And I love that because I feel like that goes so well with Ashleisha. Because Ashleisha is one of those placements where they can sometimes, and by sometimes I mean a lot, they can put on a facade of feeling or showing, coming up across as very confident, but inside they don't feel that way. but they're more so fake it until you make it. And thus, by empowering themselves and coming across like, I'm amazing, I'm great, I got this, I can do anything I want to do, they encourage other people to feel the same. They say, what's wrong with saying, I think I'm the ish? What's wrong with saying, I'm confident, I'm beautiful, I'm smart? So because you're coming across with that energy, or maybe you're even attempting to grow in that energy, other people are getting inspired by that. And they're like, yeah, me too. I'm also smart, I'm also confident, I'm also beautiful, or handsome, or attractive, whatever the case. I'm also somebody who's capable. I'm also somebody who's talented. I'm also somebody who can get the things that I want. I am somebody who is capable of achieving the things that I want. So you're inspiring others to feel the same and to be the same. And you're giving them, I mean, you are literally giving them the layout to achieve the things that they want in this life. And I think it's a lot of, it could be a lot of like material success. Like you could literally give people good financial advice. But you can also give people some very strong advice when it comes to building long-lasting relationships, especially with that 10 of coins there. You're helping people develop value systems that they can enact and bring into their family for a long period of time. This is like overturning like generational trauma and healing it and forming new patterns of behavior within your family or within your friend group or whatever the case may be. This is also like if you were somebody encouraging entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, I always say that word so weird, who always encourages them to take charge of your environment, your life, and whoever it is that you want to be. You provide like this strong leadership and you have that impact on them where it's like you're giving people practical solutions to the problems that they're facing. You are giving people good career advice, good, like I mentioned before, relationship and family advice, actual practical support or actual practical things that they can apply within the world. Like you could be that person to say, hey, have you tried investing in a Roth IRA to, save money for your retirement plan? You could be saying things like that. Or you could say, hey, I noticed that you have this sort of like family issue thing going on. Have you tried letting those family members know how you feel? Or, if you can't, because sometimes, you can't heal others, right? So it's just like, well, have you tried, if you can't get through them, tried moving on and building the family that you want based on your own values instead of trying to transform this sort of area, right? So you're giving people real world advice that they can actually use. And I think it was interesting because I think just the other day, because I'm doing my Ashlesa video, because you guys have basically bullied me into it. You were like, where's the Ashlesa video? So I'm doing my Ashlesa video and I was just looking up a certain Ashlesa individual and they were talking about how, a lot of serious topics. They went through a melee of different topics that were so important. But one of the topics they sort of talked about was like bad habits around drinking. They weren't exactly an addict, but they did have a dependency on certain substances at some point. And it was interesting because they said when they tried to come forward with this sort of like, hey, I think I have a bad habits around this. I think I have a problem with this thing, with, drinking or substance or something like that. People just kind of brushed it off because if they were to acknowledge it, then they knew that they had to acknowledge their own sort of relationship with that substance or their own addictions within their own life. And so I say that to say that your impact on other people involves a lot of self-reflection when it comes to how they view their own life. It goes back to that Six of Pentacles energy because it's not only just about like, hey, I'm giving some advice. It's like, oh, wait a minute, this person gave me something, so I have to give them something back. And that kind of goes into that kind of just ties into what I'm saying. By acknowledging your own issues or the own areas of your life where you feel disempowered or where you feel are just uncomfortable topics to talk about. Now, other people, like the Six of Coins energy, have to acknowledge that within themselves. And so that is how you're impacting others. You're causing other people to have to reflect and think about their own actions. Because the thing about also the Emperor here, the Emperor, not only do they have to strategize and take care of themselves, but the Emperor can be quite a reflective card. I know we don't typically read that way in the tarot community as tarot readers, me, myself included, all the time. But the thing about the Emperor, he has to be strategic. He has to sit back and think. He has to see how his actions affect other people. He has to think about how other people react to it. And he has to be aware of his surroundings and the people around him. He has to be very much aware of everything. It just has to be that way. And so now you're bringing out a level of self-awareness into other people. You're heightening their state of being just by you reflecting on your own actions and trying to find, maybe even you were trying to find help, because in the situation I described, that person was looking for help. And by the fact that they were looking for help, it was kind of like reflected in the people who was responding to them thinking, oh, maybe, do I need to be looking for help too? That was like kind of like the thought process they might have had, right? I know I'm wording it in a confusing way, but I'm trying to word it the best way I know how. You know, by you reaching out for help, it causes other people to reevaluate whether they should be reaching out for help as well. So your actions are causing people to reflect on their own actions or their own dependencies or own behaviors or things like that. It doesn't have to be addiction related. It could be literally anything. So that's just something to think about. And then I already mentioned the confidence, where you coming out and talking about how confident you may feel, or beautiful or smart or talented or funny, whatever the case may be, by you hyping yourself up and you feeling secure within yourself, you're causing people to sort of, like this Ace of Pentacles, grow confidence within themselves, feeling more secure within themselves, feeling like they can do that, feeling like they can be inspired, feeling like they can accomplish the things that they want to accomplish, feeling like they can build success and they can build wealth and they can be stable and they can have the relationships they want, have the house that they want, like have the car that they want. Like, what, it doesn't really matter like in terms of what exactly it is, but they feel like more empowered. Like, that is what you're bringing to people, pile number 3. You're bringing a sense of confidence and empowerment, and also a level of self-reflection and self-awareness to people, which makes sense because Ashleisha, in a way, I kind of look at it as one of like the birthplaces of self-awareness, because the Mercury ruled nakshatras deal very, very heavily with having a strong amount of emotional intelligence, which makes sense because in Vedic astrology, Mercury obviously is this planet of intelligence, and it's always in the water signs, which is emotional, right? So when you have your Mercury in the water signs, or you have like a planet in one of these Ashleisha, Revati, Jesta places, typically those placements are more likely to develop stronger sense of emotional intelligence when you have those placements. So you're helping develop people's emotional intelligence, and I didn't even have to look at the 8 of Cups to see that. I can just look at the Ashleisha card. But definitely 8 of Cups represents moving on to someplace bigger, better, just an environment or place or situation that you like more. So you give people better standards for themselves, or you allow people to have better standards for themselves. Like, I like to look at lots of different content creators. There's a content creator who I know is Ashleisha, and they give financial advice. So they're quite literally fit all the tools of this card, right? Like, they're literally giving advice about finances, how to build wealth, how to be confident within yourself and building health. That is, they literally say it all the time. Just be confident within yourself and how you can do it, how to learn, how to grow, and how to get to a place that's better. Like, that's literally the formula for what they do as an Ashleisha individual. And so I feel like you're doing that, maybe not in the same way. Maybe you're not like a financial advisor or anything like that, or something along those lines, but you are providing someone a pathway to success and to get the things that they want to in this life. And that is how you are helping people. And it could be through something like, maybe you're a therapist, maybe you're a counselor, maybe you just counsel your friends, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're just that listening ear that provides feedback to other people. Maybe you ask questions, because one thing I see Ashleisha people do is, like, let's say we have a topic and we're talking about I don't know, what's a hot topic? The relationships are a hot topic. And we're talking about, oh my God, who pays on the first date? And somebody says, oh, well, I believe men and women should go Dutch in the first date. And they have like this very passionate opinion about it. And they go on for like 4 minutes talking about it. What I've noticed about Australasia individuals is they'll say something along the lines of, do you have a strong opinion about that because XYZ? So they'll question somebody's motive or way of thinking because they are more in tune with that emotional intelligence. Instead of just reacting to what that person says, they want to think, okay, actually, where does that come from? Where is this person getting these ideas from? Why is this person thinking along this way? Like, they want to go deeper. And so you're giving people this element or this way or opportunity to go deeper. And there's another pile that's like this, but this is a little bit different in a way where you're actually providing people practical tools and practical advice on how to do so. So that's something that I want to say for you. So you're impacting people's lives in that way. You're really opening up their mind and you're giving them a chance to start anew. You know, it really does feel like you are impacting people's lives and in a way that allows them to feel just so supported. And they kind of like they're like, why do I need to feel ashamed of anything I did in the past? Like, I can be whoever I need to be now. Like, you allow people to shed their inhibitions. And I love that for you, pile number 3. So that is what I have for you. And feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If that doesn't relate, or if you don't relate to that pile, feel free to choose a different one, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Either way, I am super happy that you stopped by, and I will see you next time. Hey, pile number 4, let's get into the impact that you have on others. We have the 9 of Cups, the Magician, the King of Wands, 7 of Wands, Ace of Swords, and Megashira. I swear, I always pick Megashira, but I really shuffle my Nakshatra cards. There's only 27, so it's really random. All right. So the impact that you have on others is quite big because we have this 9 of Cups energy. And 9 of Cups is all about wish fulfillment and things coming true. So you may be kind of like this person who helps people fulfill their dreams and get what they truly desire in life. And I think it's interesting because when I was studying like who plays like genie-like characters in movies, Megashira wasn't top, but they did come up for sort of being a person who grants wishes or who brings about wish fulfillment for people. And thus it leads me to believe that the impact that you have on people is that you are able to sort of grant their wishes in a way like a genie. Maybe you have a lot of access to certain things. Maybe you're somebody who has some sort of high status, or you could just be a person who just has like a cool job that, you know, you can give access to people for things, or possibly you give advice to help people get what they want. There's a lot of ways, or you're able to show people and navigate the way that they can achieve their true desires. Or even just like maybe your presence just feels like you bring about joy and fulfillment in people's lives. Because the thing about the magician is the magician's an entertainer, and that can represent lots of different versions of entertainment. And we always look at entertainers to sort of pull us away from the harshness of reality and give us this dreamlike fantasy, something to inspire us and look forward to and to make us feel more alive. And I feel like there's a possibility that you are doing that for people, that you're giving them this sort of fantasy world creative space in which they can truly feel like they can go for their dreams, or it allows them to achieve their dreams. It's like you almost help people to manifest their dreams come true in a way. Or the other route I was about to go with this is that you just generally make people laugh. You make people feel like they have a good time around you. They feel like you bring a lot of excitement into their lives. Like you inspire people to make their dreams come true. You're showing that things can happen with effort and patience. You are providing, emotional support, helping people feel like secure and balanced within their own lives, offering to help people fight their battles, because especially with Megashira, the first ruled Mars Nakshatra coming through here definitely showcases a lot of bravery in the side of Gemini. It is about breaking free and not letting other people control you. That's why you have like so many stories when it comes to Megashira about gaslighting and having like these figureheads, treating them like puppets, because it's about breaking free from somebody's will and creating your own path, which is pretty much the entire story of Gemini. But we don't need to get into that. We even see it on the Lover's card too, but that's not here. Anyway, essentially, you are allowing other people to feel like they can achieve their goals, but at the same time, you're also bringing them like a sense of joy and happiness. Like you're really making people just feel good about either themselves or just in the moment. Maybe they had a hard day and you're that person who makes them laugh or makes them smile or does some sort of kind act for them. Because the one thing I do see about a lot of Megashira people is they can sometimes be a little bit like people pleasers. So they'll be very nice to people and offer things and go out of their way to do things for people, and can be very, very nice. So 100% you may be that person. Not saying you're a people pleaser, but you may just be somebody who does like overly nice things for people, to make them happy or make them feel better and to make them feel more blessed within their lives. And that's like a really big impact on it. People definitely remember you for that and feel like, wow, like this person is always somebody who can make me smile. And it's not always a common thing to find. And that's really amazing that you can do that, pile number 4. Another thing that we have here when it comes to the impact that you're having on other people is that they are feeling like they can take control in their own hands and rise to a position of leadership, especially with the King of Wands. And what I love about the King of Wands is he's different from the other kings in the fact that he leads through inspiration. He leads in a way where he can rally the troops by saying, and remember what they did to you, and then they burn down your houses and they treat you like dirt, and like he fires people up through his speech. He's like the movie star who's always giving that speech to rile people up while, this person's in the middle of the circle and they're riling people up and they're pointing and saying, and didn't they do this horrible thing to you? And aren't you a victim of this? Let's go defeat them. Like they're that type of like character. And so the impact you're having on people is like you're bringing about this motivator where you're saying when people are down and when people are out, you're helping them rise back up and saying, you're not going to let those people bully you. You're not going to be a victim here. You're not going to take this thing on the chin and take the L and keep it moving. No, we're going to fight. Like you're that person's coming in who is charging people up and saying, no, we're here to fight. We're here to keep going. We're here to tackle any challenges. You are somebody who is demonstrating resilience within your own life, and you're encouraging other people to be resilient and to overcome any obstacles that come their way. And people start to feel like, you know what? They're right. I can keep going. I can keep doing this. I can keep getting what I want. I can be, what's the word? I can be assertive and tackle the things and grab the things that I want that are for me. And I'm confident. I am self-assured. Like you're bringing that boost to people in a way. And it's really amazing, but it's so fiery and it's so passionate, which makes sense because we have this Megashira card here, which obviously Mars ruled nakshatras are passionate, extremely. And so like, it's like you reignite people's passions. And I think it's really amazing because I feel like before people encounter you, not that they're lost or anything, but they may get kind of like stuck in a pattern of things or how things are going, and you come through and almost reignite any passion or flame that they held inside for something that they may have once loved but maybe let go of. Like, it could be anything. Like, let's say when they were really young, they used to skate a lot and they were on their rollerblades all the time and moving about, and then they just gradually kind of like gave that up, and you come in and say, why aren't you roller skating anymore? You don't like roller skating? Roller skating's so fun. Let's go roller skating this weekend. Let's have a great time. And you like slowly help people like to reinvest back into things that they once loved. And then even also gather new things and new materials and new interests, because we do have the Magician and the Ace of Swords here. And the Ace of Swords is like this new ambition and new things that are happening and ideas that are going through. And you encourage other people to put themselves and their ideas out there. Like, you really are like a hype man or woman. Like, people feel like, wow, okay, like you're really hyping me up. I can do this. I do got this. You're right. It's like amazing to me. So you really bring about this fire inside of people where they feel like that their ideas matter, their voice matters. If they were meek and timid before, now they're speaking up because of you. Now they're saying what they really think because of you. Now they're feeling more assured in what they like and their desires because of you. They feel so ignited and so powerful and so passionate after you came into their life. I'm not saying that you're the only catalyst, but you are a catalyst for this. And then I really love that you're like encouraging people to persevere. Like, if you get any setbacks, like for example, on YouTube, I've heard this story a million times where people's content gets totally deleted, where they can't access their account or things, etc., thing like that. Instead of telling people, oh my gosh, all your hard work gone to the wayside or something like that, this is you saying, no, you have to keep going. Like, you have to keep putting yourself out there. Don't let those, oops, sorry, my phone got a notification. I thought I had it on private, on silent. I guess that's confirmation from the cards. I love when those like little interruptions happen, because it's like saying, yes, this is it. This is it. You're encouraging people to keep going after setbacks. You're telling them that that doesn't mean anything. You can still keep going. It reminds me of, because Kanye West has, I think, his son in Megashira. Kanye West, after his car accident, right? Where he had invested so much time and money and energy into, I think, his music career and etc. Then he gets into this car accident, and I think he might have lost the record deal. They go into depth on Netflix. I haven't seen it in a while. I think it's been a year since I saw his documentary. But basically, he was down bad after the car accident. Like, things were, they had gone to hell, okay, to be honest. And essentially, he had to reinvest in himself. He had to keep going. And even, I'm not going to say Kanye's my favorite person right now, but he used to be one of my favorites before, obviously all the things he's done. But one thing I do admire about him is his resilience to the obstacles. And you can even look at the reviews for it, where people talk about the fact that he just kept going, where he was dead broke, kept going, car accident, kept going, spending all his money, kept going, fights with friends, keeps going, like, loses record deal, I think he lost a record deal or something, or he couldn't get signed at some point. I can't remember all the details, but he kept going is the point. And it's insane, but that's honestly the type of energy you need to bring. You need to bring that Mars-ruled energy. You already bring that Mars-ruled energy, but people are noticing you're bringing that Mars-ruled energy into people's lives. Like, they're like, wow, this person is pushing me to keep going no matter what, to make my dreams come true, to make my dreams a reality. You're somebody who is pushing people to grasp onto that and to never let go. And it's amazing how much that you are inspiring and encouraging others. Like, you have such a strong voice and powerful voice. And not only that, but you reflect it within your actions, especially this King of Wands, because the King of Wands talks the talk and walks the walk. You know what I mean? He keeps his promises. He says what he's going to do, and he does it. And he follows through with everything he has to say. Like if he says I'm going to do this, then it's done. It's done. You don't have to even worry about it with the King of Wands. And people see that behavior in you and they're like, well, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to do that too. And so you really see a lot of encouragement here from you. But the thing is, you also do acknowledge that you want people to keep in mind and care for other people, because the thing about the Nine of Wands is wish fulfillment, but the Nine of Wands is also energy where they're kind of like giving a lot to people around them. Oop, things are not, wow, so many signs, things are knocking over. They are giving a lot to people around them, and that goes back to this energy where I was talking about Megashare. It can be a little bit more people-pleasy, and so people feel like you're encouraging them to also give and do more for other people, to put in effort for more other people, to care more about other people. And they like that about you. They like that you're somebody who stands up for people who can't stand up for themselves, who invests time in those who may be down on their luck, who pushes people to propel forward, to pushes people to accomplish their goals and to get out of any rut and to tackle challenges and to never give up. And then also sharing that and pushing other people to do the same. So people are loving that about you, and they find that to be so impactful. It really encourages them to keep going. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep making people laugh. Keep making people smile, and keep encouraging them. You're having such a huge impact on people. Like, it's really incredible. But that's what I have for you, pal number 4. Hopefully you resonated with the reading. Sometimes I get a little bit twisted up in my words. I'm trying to work on that. We all got our language issues, or maybe not all of us, but a lot of us do. But yeah, that is what I have for you. Hopefully you liked it. If you didn't like it, choose another pal, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. But either way, I'm super happy that you stopped by, and I hope to see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal number 5. Let's get started on the impact you have on others. I love how I got my nails done, or did my nails right in the middle of the pals. But yeah, I don't film these back to back to back. I do have a weird schedule. The king, so this is the Hermit, the Devil, the King of Swords. I know it says Ace of Swords, but it's the King of Swords, guys. It's like a print problem. Love the pals, but you know, the cards, but they do have a print problem. 6 of Swords, 2 of Wands, and Ardra. I feel like I pull Ardra so many times, but I really be shuffling these cards, guys. For sure. So if Ardra wanted to come out, it wanted to come out and wanted to say some stuff, okay? So the impact that you have on others is quite profound. We're going to say that, because I think when I see the Hermit and the Devil card lined up, it's almost like you help others face like the darker aspects of their personality and really analyze their behavior. Because the thing about Ardra is a spicy type of energy. Ardra is not demure. Ardra is very much like, I'm going to spot all of the flaws or highly criticize something. Look at something like with this fine-tooth comb, like pretty much all the Rahu Nakshatras do, but Ardra does it in a way that it's commentary on, well, it comments on a lot of things because it's in the sign of Gemini, and so in Vedic astrology, and so it's concentrating so much on all the little things that could possibly be wrong about something. It's almost amazing how we have this diamond thing, because this diamond symbol for it, because diamonds are kind of known for being better when they're more flawless, or more expensive when they're more flawless. And Ardra is all about having that sort of like flawless coated diamond-y finish, okay? This almost perfection-like nature. And so you really force other people to take this hard look, this hard, intense look at their unhealthy attachments, at the darker sides of their personality, at their unhealthy behaviors, at their deep fears, and to shed light on areas that they potentially may need to grow and move on from. Especially since we have the Six of Swords here, coming in here. You are using your intelligence to have conversations with people, more than likely, about things that may be touchy subjects or subjects that feel uncomfortable, and you want them to move to a better place. You want them to gravitate to something better, or possibly you're just having these conversations. But one thing about Ardra is when I see that energy from Ardra is they can have this very, very hard shell, but they very much so like to help people. I did a study on like what nakshatra is kind of like one of the most giving nakshatras, and you would have thought it'd been like a Jupiterian nakshatra, but actually it was Ardra that was always granting like the most wishes and giving the most wish fulfillment to people and helping other people out. Ardra was doing it the most at like a massive scale that was insane. And so I do think people see that there's a genuine desire for you to help people, and you impact them in a way where they start trying to draw healthier boundaries for themselves. They start trying to have better standards for themselves, like this diamond energy here. They start to try to refine themselves and grow themselves so they can be a better version of themselves. Because you have such clear judgment, it really helps that you're able to effectively communicate what you're seeing from their behaviors or from patterns that they may possibly be following, or even just thought processes that they may have. By you pointing these things out to them, they can have a clearer understanding of who they are, and they can quickly correct those behaviors. Because that's the thing about Ardra, it's there to sort of like more so point out flaws. Not saying that they don't give praise, but I've seen more Ardra people focus more so on flaws. I've seen them focus a little bit more about refining things that don't fit, that aren't in alignment with the complete vision and level of, I guess I'll say, perfection that it could be. I mean, nothing can be perfect, but you know what I mean. The level of perfection that it could be. And so you're there to help people see their flaws better, to see the things that they may not even think about. You know, a lot of people don't think about the areas that they have flaws in. A lot of people can't name 3 flaws that they have. And I promise you, you're the person who can quickly name it for them. And you may have pointed certain things out to people. You may have forced them to do some shadow work or something along the lines of that, or seek therapy or journal or really reflect on who they are and their behaviors and how they're coming across to people, or their triggers or things along the lines of that. But what I love about this spread is you're also kind of pushing people to move forward to a new place, a place that you're like, hey, this is all about, we can't stick in the past. We have to move forward. We have to get to another place. We have to elevate. Now that things have been pointed out to me, now that things have been shown, I've been shown the light, I have to move forward. And so you are kind of pushing people to move forward, to take an analytical look at their behaviors that are not ideal and move forward in a different direction, which I love for Ardra, because when I was doing my own personal kind of like study on Ardra, it was all about, not all about, but one of the themes had to do with how certain memories and certain behaviors and certain moments in time could never be captured again. And you just have to keep moving on and keep moving forward. And so you're helping people understand that the things of the past are no longer here. Those behaviors that they may have picked up during childhood or throughout their life with their interactions with people, or situations that they may have fallen into. Those situations are no longer present. Those people are no longer present, and therefore the behavior has to change. You're letting people know that it's time to reinvent themselves. It's time to start anew. It's time to go in a direction that it's just going to bring you a better situation for yourself. And not only that, with the Two of Wands here, it's almost like you're letting people know that it's okay to question certain maybe lessons or things that you have been taught. Because the Two of Wands, the thing about the Two of Wands, it's all about being that person who is trying to set themselves apart, who is wanting to be unique, who has an idea that's different from other people and wants to push it out there, and they're planning for it, and they're offering their unique perspective, and they just don't want to follow suit with what anybody else is doing. And so another aspect of your personality is, after you're able to, encourage people to push past these bad habits or negative patterns of behavior or thinking, you encourage them to take on a bolder persona, take on a more empowered way of thinking, and to be more so, what's the word I'm looking for? Be an innovator, be someone who is going to push the envelope, be like this Ardra energy, be Rahu like, because Ardra is ruled by Rahu, and Rahu is this point, this nodal point, which represents sort of breaking conventions and going against the grain and like being super innovative. It can represent like things like technology and pushing towards the future. Like when you see Ardra characters, you see people who are striving for the next best thing, who are always looking forward, who, it's not that they don't acknowledge the past. In fact, they do. They'll take the past, but then they'll say, actually, let's take the past and move in a different direction. Like, let's take some things from the past and innovate and make smartphones and make cars and make planes and make, flying cards and have like biometric scanners. Like Ardra is this push towards the future and what things can be. Let's have food grown in labs. Like this is very like Rahu type energy. Like let's go further. Let's do things we've never done before. And so your impact on people, you're encouraging people to go into uncharted waters, places that they've never been before, to take on new paths. So your impact is quite amazing in the sense that you are acknowledging that you're helping them, acknowledging not only to leave the past behind, but the reason why they're leaving the past behind. And then you're encouraging them to take bolder strides that push the envelope that they may have been a little bit scared to do. You're encouraging people to take more risk, but not too much risk. Like I don't see like the Fool card here. Like if there was like the Fool card, I'd be like, oh, you're taking major risk. But you're just saying, hey, dip your toe in a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like try something different. And then the thing I love about Ardra is because all Rahu placements have so much ambition and so much drive. So I think it's great that we got the Hermit and the Devil card here, because that's Virgo, this is Capricorn. And so you may also be inspiring people to work harder, work smarter, try to gain the material things that they desire in this life, because Rahu represents the material world in general. Ardra as well is obviously Rahu ruled, so they're very much connected to the material world. And it's like you encourage other people to say, hey, no, it's not shallow to want a Bentley. It's not shallow to want to eat at 5-star restaurants or what's the word I'm looking for? The the Michelin star restaurants are spend $100 on sushi or whatever the heck you want to do. It's saying enjoy it. Go and enjoy these pleasurable aspects of the human experience. That's what we're here for. We're not just our souls. So you are encouraging people to, in a sense, live life to their fullest and try to achieve the best of the best in the things that are high achieving, because that's what Ardra wants to do. Ardra is intelligent, and Ardra is going to use its intelligence to get what they want in this life, and especially things that are material things, that are high quality things, things that look good, feel good, and things that matter within society. One thing you see about Ardra is the ability to put on an illusion and being very aware of how you present yourself to your audience. Creating a beautiful image, having quality film, quality standards, like not like my channel here. My channel here is very low budget, but somebody Ardra would have a whole production, would make it look nice, would have very nice, beautiful thumbnails. They would have a very theme for like their thumbnails. Everything would be cohesive. Everything would just be top-notch type quality. So they are letting you know that you should invest your time, or you're encouraging people, you're impacting people to invest their time and energy into things that are quality, things that are nicer, or things that are luxurious, or things that may be even hard to achieve, and to work hard and pour their energy into these things. So there's a lot of ambition that you encourage in other people, especially when it comes to trying to gain those material things. You say, hey, aren't you tired of sitting in economy? Work hard and get to business class, or work hard and get to first class. Like, you are pushing people to move forward and move forward faster. That is like your energy. You're like, what have you been doing this year? Let me see what you've been up to. Let me see your portfolio. And actually, I think I have seen an Ardra person say that. They're like, hey, it's midpoint in the year. What have you been up to? Like, literally those words have been said to me, like not to me specifically, but like I've heard them say it to a group of people. Like, what have you been doing? Have you been slacking? Have you been lazy? Have you been not on your grind? Like, they are like, get going. And so you kind of encourage people to get going, whether that's through your own actions or whether you're actually literally verbalizing that to people. Like, what have you been up to lately? You know, like, stop sitting around watching Netflix, get moving, start living life, start accomplishing your goals, get those things done. And so you have that kind of motivational like energy. Always wanting to see growth and change. And so you encourage people to do that. And there's obviously a level of emotional intensity there where they're kind of like encouraging you to not feel so trapped to express your desires and the things that you want in this world. Because a lot of the things that you want in this world are, people are going to judge you for it. People are going to say, oh, that's what you like? Or that's not something I would do. Or that's what you're going to do. That's what you said. That's what you wore. That's how you dress. Like, it's just, you know, people are going to come at you for any little reason. You're encouraging other people to be reasonable and still make room for them to express themselves. At least that's the impact they feel like you're having on them. They feel like you're taking in a more rational picture of the world around them, and you're giving them the insight of like what you see and how you're picturing things. And they feel like it's very useful and intelligent insight. They feel like you're explaining even like these dark aspects of human nature, and that it's important to even look out for these things, and important to protect yourself against those who may have poor intentions or bad intentions. So this is just the impact that you're having on others. Like, you're bringing about a sense of awareness in them. You're encouraging them to be, you're encouraging them to be bolder, and you're encouraging them to be smarter, and to not to trust everybody for every little thing, and to really observe, you know, yourself, others, and the way the world works. And then be innovative and bold in your own expression. So that is what I have for you, pal number 5. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't resonate with the reading, maybe choose another pal, or you can choose another reader. Either way, either way, I'm so happy you stopped by, and au revoir.